The clip starts off already chilling when the bangs on the door start to happen. But when you take a look at the other camera and realise that there's actually nobody on the other side of the door, it adds a whole new dynamic to it. Frosted glass window. And I was looking through it and I could see the figure of someone walking past the door. So I went to open the door and I could feel this resistance behind the door.
They fucking hell never considered or even thought, fucking hell.
We are back and welcome back to our channel and welcome back to another spooky Sunday, you absolute bloody legends. Today, we're going to take you guys through a little bit of a poltergeist update. We like to do these maybe once a month just to kind of round up the things that we've caught either on or off camera, because we've got a couple of stories for you guys today, some weird things that we've experienced off camera that we haven't told you yet, and trust me, it's weird. Before we get into it though, I want to invite you guys to jump to get the hell out of that like button, subscribe if you are new and tickle my little bell so you get notified whenever we upload. And be sure to go and follow us on our social medias as well, Lainey and Ben across everything, because the things that you see here, you can see there first. And then this is just kind of a roundup at the end of the month. But we're going to get straight into it, so without any more mucking about, be sure to get yourselves a brew, turn off the lights, and let's get into today's video. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is some paranormal activity that we caught during some live investigations that we've done right here on this channel. In case you don't already know, every couple of weeks or so we do like to do some investigation style live stream videos because we feel like it is the best way to show the authenticity of what we're going through in our house, because you can see the footage live, unedited, uncut, anything really, so you can see it for your very eyes as it happens. This one, it is myself who is conducting the investigation. It all starts off very quiet. It's the first investigation that we had done since the baby had been born, and it didn't take long for things to start happening. Take a little look at this. Checks the chair. Oh, fuck off! Oh! Jesus Christ, that scared the shit out of me. Whistling's still going, definitely. Is that? Fuck. Lady! Everyone's saying that they saw an orb. Oh my god, this is stressing me out. It was only moments into the investigation really starting. There were some thuds that were heard and they really gave me a fright, and that kind of set the tone for the rest of the investigation. Doors opening, slamming shut, constantly throughout the entire investigation, just constantly giving me frights. And it really inducted us back into the investigating world. I think one of the creepiest things that had happened during this investigation was there was a lot of whistling, which tended to happen when things were going to happen. So if you have a look at this clip, you will see that there's a whistle just before the door slams shut. Everyone's saying that they saw an orb. Everyone's saying that they saw an orb. And this investigation is one that Lainey did only a couple of days ago. This is the first time that Lainey has ever done a solo live investigation. And what happened was unlike anything we've caught during a live investigation before. Have a look.
It was so clear, and loads of people have heard. Fuck! It's got shit, right. And family are all like well, my family lives miles away, so they fucking hell. I am so sorry for my potty mouth. think we would like benefit from getting.
Yeah.
There's been some things on there that we would never have considered or even thought. Fucking hell.
Look at the. So we did have the classic things that we would typically expect to happen, like the doors opening, closing, handles rattling and things like this. But the thing that really made this live stream stand out above all else was that chair. Lainey initially heard the chair dragging towards her. As she turned around to take a look, she went over to see if she could investigate what the noise was, because at the time she wasn't too sure. She thought it was the chair, couldn't be certain, so got up to go and have a look. And as she walked over, this happened.
It's like a little... Did you hear it? Did you hear that? It sounded like the chair. Did you hear that? It sounded like the chair moving on the floor. Let me see. Oh my God. That scared the crap out of me. Could you?
And this terrified Lainey just as much as it terrified you guys. We'd never caught anything like this on a live stream before, and we feel like it's arguably some of the most compelling evidence, along with the next clip that we're going to show you. A couple of weeks ago, Lainey did a spirit box session to try and communicate with Dave and Andy. All was going fine, she was chatting away, but things kept being said through the spirit box, which seemed quite odd at the time. Either Dave or Andy kept saying door over and over and over again. Things like door, the door, look at the door, things like this. And at the time, Lainey wasn't sure what it meant. She just thought it was something on repeat from the app, but not even that could prepare her for what was about to happen. Have a little look at this.
Oh my God. Did you hear that? Wait, why am I upside down? Oh my God, I've just ruined the camera. Did you hear that? Door? Did you hear the door? We've got the camera here.
Lainey was just happily chatting away to Dave and Andy when the door started to bang, quite aggressively. As she got up to go over and investigate the sound, she pulled the door open to find that there was nobody on the other side. Fortunately, we have put a camera on the other side of the door, because after you guys have really highly recommended we do that, after having things like this happen before, and after looking back on the CCTV footage, the clip becomes even more terrifying, because as we play it back, you can see that there's nobody on the other side of the door. Take a look.
Did you hear that? Wait, why am I upside down? Oh my God, I've just ruined the camera. Did you hear that? Door? Did you hear the door? Oh my God. Did you hear that? Wait, why am I upside down? Oh my God, I've just ruined the camera. Did you hear that? Door? Did you hear the door?
The clip starts off already chilling when the bangs on the door start to happen. But when you take a look at the other camera and realise that there's actually nobody on the other side of the door, it adds a whole new dynamic to it. Because Lainey opens the door, the banging stops, and you can see that there's absolutely no one there. We're so glad that we have that camera set up on the other side of the door, and we're so grateful that you guys suggested we do that. But what do you guys think about this clip? Do you think it's even creepier now that we've got the camera on the other side of the door to prove that there's no one on the other side? Or do you not find it any different? Leave a comment down below, we'd love to hear your thoughts. The next story I'm about to tell you guys, we didn't catch on camera, but it is just as chilling, nevertheless. I was going out to the shop to go and get some things for tea that night. Lainey was upstairs feeding the baby. So as I came down, I left the house like I normally would and I jumped in the car. Realising I'd forgot my wallet, I got out of the car to go back into the house. As I was approaching the house, I looked through. We've got like this frosted glass window. And I was looking through it and I could see the figure of someone walking past the door. So I assumed that Lainey had followed me downstairs with the baby and come and locked the door behind me. I left the door unlocked, which meant I could have walked straight in. So I went to open the door like normal and I could feel this resistance behind the door. So putting two and two together, knowing that I'd just seen this figure walk past and that the door, there was some resistance behind the door, I assumed that Lainey had followed me down to come and lock the door, and that's what she was in the process of doing, because I could open the handle, push the handle down, but I couldn't push it back. Like there was someone on the other side of the door pushing it the other way, and that's what we have to do to lock our door. So that's what I assumed. I shouted, like, watch out the way, I'm gonna come through, so that Lainey, who I thought was on the other side of the door, could step back and let me in. And after a couple of seconds of like pushing the door with my hand, I gave it a bit of a shoulder barge to force it open. And as I came through the door, there was no one on the other side. So I shouted on Lainey and I looked around the corner in the kitchen and I looked in the living room and I looked up the stairs and Lainey wasn't there. So I shouted on Lainey and I could hear her answer from the top floor. I knew that there was no possible way that she could have got up the stairs with the baby in the time that it took for me to barge through the door, which was only a matter of seconds. So, I mean, it's not a terrifying things are flying across the room, but it was really, really weird to see the silhouette through the door, then have the resistance on the other side of the door and not be able to open it fully, and then having to barge through for there to be nothing on the other side. Like, we've never experienced anything like that before, and I don't know what to think of it. I really don't know what to think of it. I don't think it was anything like malicious or anything like that, but it was weird, really weird. Literally like there was a force, like we were both pushing the door. Like I was pushing to get in, this force was pushing the door to keep it shut. And I can't even describe it. It's just the weirdest experience to open it and expect to see someone and then not have anyone there. I'd absolutely love to hear what you guys have to say about this. Have you ever experienced anything like this? And what do you make of it? Because it's a weird one. It's a really weird one. Because, well, for reasons I've just explained. So be sure to get down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on that one. And prepare yourselves for the next story from Lainey herself.
So the next story that we wanted to talk about was something that actually happened to me only yesterday. I know that you guys all know that I've had a crazy birth with Apollo, and off the back of that I've been getting some help from the mental health services in our local area, and one of the things that started is some trauma management therapy style stuff. So what I've been kind of effectively enrolled on is a group therapy sort of course. They're very strict on it. You've got to keep your camera on, you've got to keep your microphone on, and you've got to always be in shot. So with that said, yesterday was my first session. It was the first time I was meeting the clinical psychologist, and there were two of those, and the other participants. You have to keep the camera on because of, one, they need to make sure that you're on your own and that you're safe, but also to help maintain the confidentiality of everybody else. If they know that you're on your own, then everybody else feels safe, because what ends up being spoken about is really quite sensitive. So I'm just getting on with the session. I'm listening carefully, and on a couple of occasions in the background there's just this shadow, and I know who it is, and at first I think it, oh, there's the door, that's them acknowledging that it was them. So there's I've left the background like this, so it's not blurred out or anything like that, and the shadow is, there's a shadow that kind of comes from behind me and just walks across the back of the shot. And I'm thinking, oh, Ben knows that he shouldn't be here. Why is he coming in the room? And then I realise it's not Ben. So I kind of turn and look, see that there's nobody there, and I'm like, oh God, that's definitely Dave or Andy. And then it happens 2 more times, so it happens twice in one go, just like quite quickly. I turn and look, nothing. I turn and then it happens again. And then a few minutes later, it happens once more. The problem is that they're very, very strict on this course. So I had actually said, look, I might need to like breastfeed my baby. I've got a newborn. Would that be all right if I turn off my camera? And I was told no. I said, well, I'm worried about people just feeling a little bit uncomfortable if I have to feed. And he basically said to me, well, during these sessions, you know, we understand that you have a newborn, but during these sessions you really should be allowing yourself the time, almost gifting yourself the time to be able to focus on this sort of this 2 hours slot. So we understand if you need to today, but in future could you kind of put provisions into place, which is fair enough. So that's how particular they are, you know. They're not really that keen on the distraction of breastfeeding a baby. So I'm sat there thinking, if they see shadows in the background, they're going to think that there's somebody listening in the room and I might get thrown off this course. And how do I say, oh sorry, that's not somebody in the room, that's my ghost slash ghosts slash poltergeist. I mean, it's already bad enough that I'm there for like mental health issues without sounding like an absolute lunatic, being like, oh, don't mind the shadows in the background, 8 or 10 strangers or however many people there are. That's just my spirits popping up to say hi. And I know for a fact that they were doing it to wind me up. So that happened. I worked out how to blur the background of the screen. I thought, well, if anything, maybe that won't show up. Luckily, I didn't notice. If they did try that trick again, I didn't notice, so that was good. However, there was a point in the session that became extremely emotive, and it really brought up feelings for a lot of us. Well, I was really struggling with it, and I was quite caught off guard with it. So I know that my energy had kind of like increased through like my emotions, and I also know that that other people were feeling like that. And so I don't know if that kind of increased the activity in the room that I was in, but the desk that I was sat at, I'd put a tissue down that I'd been drying my eyes with, and I was literally cringing because I'm on the laptop in this like meeting. I was at home, by the way. I was on the laptop in this meeting, and the tissue that I'd used was like, it was as if somebody had grabbed it and was just flinging it up in the air. So it literally, I was thinking, if that falls in front of the camera and I'm clearly sat here like not moving, how am I going to explain this? How am I going to explain this? And then there was a mirror, and the mirror was kind of like rocking back and forward, well, towards me and back, and I was trying not to like be distracted because I wanted to show that it's as important to me, and I want to listen to it, and that like that I'm not being distracted. But things were moving around on the desk around me, and I was really struggling. So Dave and Andy, or Dave or Andy, were literally being a right little shit, but at the same time it was really lovely to feel like they were there with me, and they were like almost, they could see that I was struggling, and they were just trying to eat, like, one, show that they were there, and two, just take my mind off the intensity of the session, I think. But at the same time, we've had words. They're not allowed to do it again.
So there it is, another poltergeist update for you guys. Just some things that have happened over the past month that we found really weird. Some things, like we said earlier, we've caught on camera, and a couple of things we hadn't caught on camera. But we'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions about all of it, really. What we've caught and what we didn't catch. I did have a look back on the CCTV to see if we had caught the figure that I saw, but I couldn't find anything around that time that I was going out. So I'm just going to assume that it didn't pick anything up. Maybe the camera wasn't triggered and there was no motion for it to be triggered. So unfortunately there's no footage to go with that one. But What do you guys think? What are your thoughts and opinions on that? While you're down there, chatting away, be sure to jump scare the hell out of that like button, subscribe if you are new, and tickle my little bell so you get notified whenever we upload. In case you don't already know, we do upload on a Wednesday and a Sunday at 8 PM. Some Wednesdays we do a live stream like I was talking about with the investigations, so be sure to have your my little bell tickled so that you know whenever something's happened. I also want to give a massive shout out to channel members, because you guys are the true MVPs of this channel. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have the equipment that we have, like the CCTV and the equipment that we've got to do these investigations and things like this. So massive shout out to you guys. If you want to become a channel member for yourselves, then be sure to get down into the description where there will be a link. You guys can get cool and exclusive perks like extra videos every single week on this channel, and early access to Spooky Sunday every single goddamn week. And also merch. I'm repping the white t-shirt today with the tarot card logo. Be sure to get down into the description or the pinned comment where there is a link to get your own merch. There's lots of stuff over there to choose from beanies, t-shirts, hoodies, mouse mats. I've got my own little mouse mat set up today. Coasters, mugs, all sorts, man. But with all that said, I hope that you guys have enjoyed today's video. Hope you've enjoyed this little recap, and I like doing these videos because I feel like it gives a little bit of context to some of the things that we put up, because a lot of the videos that we put up don't have the context, they just have the activity, and I feel like these videos tend to answer a few of the questions that people have. With all that said though guys, I hope that you have enjoyed, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video, and I will spook to you later. Peace.